Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 31st episode of Telepathy. We are here.
Yes, we are. And we have a very interesting topic to talk about today that I conceived last night at 2:30 in the morning.
Give us some background on that really fast on just like how that came about.
Like how my idea came about or how
Just give us
what?
the story time of like how you got to the point of writing all of this down at 3 a.m.
Oh, well, I was just like on TikTok and I'll explain this a little bit more after we do our introduction or our camp question, but basically I was on TikTok and I started having this like existential crisis about the current state of the world. And yeah, more on that later.
Exactly. So now with our telepathy traditions, our camp question, and our icebreakers, and it is my turn to come up with it today. So name, age, and what's your favorite dessert? I don't know if we've done this, but like
Yeah, I don't think we have.
I don't know if I was getting like weird deja vu or something, but like, what's your favorite dessert?
Name is Anna, age 21. And my favorite dessert, I don't know. I kind of go through phases, like possibly, ooh, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with like lemon cookies. I just love lemon
I did not see that
flavor.
coming, but I think it's very
I
valid.
didn't I didn't either. It just came out of like left field. Like it just appeared to me. I usually say
It came
brownies.
to you in a dream.
Yeah, exactly. I usually say brownies, but if somebody asked me like can I bake something for you? I would say yes. Can you bake me lemon cookies?
Okay,
So,
yes. I'll remember that next time I need to bake you
okay.
something. So, hi, I'm Enzo. My age is 16, and see, like, I love brownies and cookies and all that, but it would not be complete without ice cream. And so that is why ice cream is my favorite dessert because it's like you can have it with things, but it's also like amazing 10 out of 10 by itself. So that is why she gets the award.
I would honestly say ice cream is also like my favorite dessert, but I felt like that was like I feel like it's just a staple like yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm boring and basic. We get it. I'm just kidding. LOL.
LOL.
Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But next we can go into our music and TV shout outs.
Um, so my shout out today is
We just picked up our phones to go check our Spotify's.
I know we always do that. By the way, we do have a playlist called the Telepathy playlist. And on this playlist, we add all of our weekly shout outs. So if you want to go follow us on Instagram at the Telepathy Pod, we have a little highlight section where we have the link to this playlist. But there's this artist that me and Enzo both listen to. He's really underground. Like, I'm not just saying that, but like he is.
He's
His name is
underground.
Blackaby. Yeah, his name is Blackaby. And I've been listening to him for a while, but today he randomly came out with a new album that I had no idea about. And it's really good. So I would say a really good song from that album is Cafe du Monde or Cafe du Monde. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Okay, French.
yeah,
Is it French? If it's not, that's gonna be so embarrassing for
yeah.
me.
I think it's French, but who knows? Um, yeah, but that's my shout out. No TV or movie shout
Oh, you don't
outs.
have one? Okay.
No.
My TV shout out is H2O because I finished Mako Mermaids and now I'm just kind of going back in time and going to H2O. And then my music shout out is just gonna make Anna very happy, but so I listened to the MGMT albums like back in 2020, but I never like revisited them or anything. But then Anna texted me and was like, "Oh, have you heard the Congratulations album?" And I was like, "I mean, I've heard it before, but like, should I listen again?" And then I listened twice yesterday at school. And
It's so good.
yes, I'm gonna shout out the song "I Found a Whistle" because it just, I don't know, I
Yeah.
like it.
It's like something about finals week for me. I like get super like hyper fixated on a certain musical artist every time
Oh,
it's
really?
finals. And so last spring it was also MGMT and this fall it's MGMT again. And like
Just a full circle.
I literally have not listened to anything else this whole week. The only thing stopping me from shouting them out again was Blackaby's new album. So, they're just so good. Like I'm like obsessed.
No, they are really good. But do you have anything from your week that you would like to discuss?
Um, I had like not a good week, but because, it's just like finals, it's the height of like all my having to like get everything done. I also had applied to this internship last week and I missed. So I submitted my application and then they're sending like a virtual interview that you complete on your own. Um, And I like waited too long to complete it and it expired because they didn't really say what the exact due date was. So now I can't apply to that internship anymore. And I'm like actually really sad because I spent so much time on that application because you had to do like a whole project for
No.
that application. Um, but yeah, we're getting through it and it's winter breaks in a week, so I'm excited.
Exactly. And I was telling you that like I mean at this point the only thing you can do is just take it as a sign and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it just wasn't the internship
Exactly.
of your dreams.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay, so I had today off of school and I've just been editing and all of that. And I've been working too, and the new quarter started and I'm already back to square one with math.
Oh,
Like the first quiz already happened and it was like not good, but yeah, I mean it was
it's
also
funny that you're halfway through your semester. It's funny how you just got halfway through your semester
and
and
you're
I'm
like
like done.
ending your
Like
semester.
this is why my attention span is bad because I have like 10-week quarters.
Ugh, anyways, but yeah, and then also a dog that was, well, I don't have a dog, but there was a dog that was very special to me in my life, and she has unfortunately passed. So it
Oh,
was like really sad, but
that's so
yeah,
sad.
we're getting through, and we're here to talk about art today, which is a little bit of a
Yeah.
switch up, but I guess talk more about your me constantly asking you to elaborate on this 2:30 a.m. idea.
Yeah. So this quarter I've been taking 20th century art history, which I did not think I was going to like at all because I was like the 20th century is like stupid because it's all the like modern artists that are trying to be different. But I actually like love this class so much. And it's funny because literally the whole class is just we sit there for an hour and the teacher lectures and then for we have a break and then the next half of the class we watch like some sort of documentary. But all the documentaries that my professor chooses are like really interesting. So yesterday in class we watched this documentary on this artist called Jean-Michel Basquiat. He designed the like Strokes cover, which I was telling you about yesterday.
Which I'm
The
literally
Strokes
staring at
new
across
album
my room
Normal.
right now because I have
Yeah.
that album cover.
But anyways, the documentary was about how he was like a graffiti artist in the early 80s. But then he became a visual artist and like I guess nowadays it still works like this, but like when you want to start selling art, you get an art dealer who is like above you and they find ways to sell your art. But basically this artist, he like basically became famous in a span of like 2 or 3 months. He was selling his paintings first for like $300 and then a few months later he was selling them for like
Oh
$200,000
my God.
and he became like a millionaire. And I was thinking like why can I not name a single artist right now? Like that's like alive right now. Can you think
Oh
of an
wait,
artist? Like name an artist. that's that's still
that's interesting
so
because I
I
was thinking about doing that for the question today. I was like, who's your favorite artist? And then I was like, wait, I literally have zero
yeah,
clue.
because I mean obviously there were a ton in the early 20th century like Leonardo da Vinci, not Leonardo da Vinci, sorry.
Oh, I was
That
gonna
was
say I was like
earlier
the
on.
20th century.
I mean, I meant Van Gogh, which also wasn't the 20th century, but like Claude Monet, Frida Kahlo. And then I Googled, or earlier I Googled like current artists that are alive. And they're all pretty old. Like there's one pretty famous artist named Yayoi Kusama who I just finished an essay on yesterday. But she's like 90. So her height was still in like the 60s and 70s. So I'm like, why? Like up until literally from the before the Renaissance to now, or to the 80s and 90s, there's always been like famous artists. And now there's just
Yeah,
not.
that's super
Like what the
interesting.
heck?
And I almost wonder if like there's just like less ways for art to be famous now or like really, really get your art out there. Like there's no like super modern museums, I guess, that are literally like popular worldwide. But I almost wonder if it's still with that curse of like some artists, who like their work finally gets recognized after they die.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna be like that?
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering, but like there aren't any artists that died say in the 2000s that are famous right now.
True. But
Like
also like
there are some, but like not any that the common person would think of. But however, like this artist that I was talking about earlier, like Jean-Michel Basquiat, like like everybody knew who he was. People would like line up outside of his exhibition early to like go see it. Also, like the SCAD Museum of Art, they host some pretty contemporary artists. And like even the MoMA still, it's. I just feel like maybe museums are dying, but I feel like we should talk about how I feel like it's social media's fault because how it lines up is as soon as social media started, suddenly there's no famous artists. Like that can't be a coincidence.
because it's a whole mess with like the rise of digital art. And then also, I think that like social media does make art super accessible, but almost to like a bad extent to where, you know,
Hmm.
things can get
It's
plagiarized
like watered
easily.
down.
Yeah, or definitely like
Yeah.
watered down too. And then also, like speaking with like in terms of really, really recent times, like I feel like AI might decrease the value of art because
Hmm.
I mean, even though AI is literally
Ugh.
just like a machine that is fed information from
Yeah.
pre-existing art, but that's just a whole nother mess adding to this.
Yeah. And like a lot of my professors are like kind of embracing AI and they're like, it's a tool. Like, before Adobe Illustrator and before Photoshop, we had to do it physically. But I'm still just like,
Yeah, no.
it's watering down. So like there are some artists that I follow on Instagram. Like when I see their posts, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. But like I would never go out of my way to like see one of their exhibitions, maybe because it's right there on my phone. Whereas if I feel like if I lived in the 80s, I feel like I would be like obsessed with an artist and be like, I have to go see their exhibition, you know?
Yeah, because like that's all you can see, but now you can just click on somebody's profile, see all you need to see, and then go.
Hmm.
And then also it makes it hard because I mean, there are some artists, I mean, some content creators do make art like their niche, but there are some
Hmm.
artists who don't like social media, but they don't really have a choice because if they actually want to make this like a career that, they can support themselves financially with,
Yeah.
you almost have no choice nowadays.
I feel like also social media might have ruined art a little bit. Not ruined, but like if you're looking on social media, it's like the art is all over it and you're like, "Oh, so anybody can do this." Which anybody can do art, but it's like lots of people can do inauthentic art.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when I learn about art and art history, it's like, wow, these people had like a meaning behind it or like they were really intentional with what they were doing. But now it's like the fact that you can just learn art on like YouTube videos. If you can like watch YouTube videos on like how to do a certain technique. It's almost like you're not developing the technique yourself that makes it unique. I guess
No,
it's
yeah,
like
I get it.
it's not as unique anymore.
Because I feel
Um
like now, instead of somebody just getting a piece of paper and just like literally drawing or painting whatever comes to their brain or whatever they think feels most authentic to them, now you can go on Pinterest or something and see like a reference photo of a flower or an eye,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you want to recreate that. And like there's nothing wrong with that, but I know what you mean, how like it can cause art in like long term to be different.
Mm-hmm. And like throughout all of art history, like and music history too. Like we can start talking about music a little bit more too, but like it is people do like quote unquote steal from the people before them, like more of in like they're inspired by the people before them, and they kind of like re revamp the older stuff, but like still it just feels something's like off nowadays, and like I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Um, but also like so music, like I like had this realization in the past few days where I'm like, as much as I love going to concerts and there's like a lot of artists that I like overall the music this decade is so bad.
Hmm.
Like I don't know.
No, I know what you mean because I don't know. I feel like when you listen to older music, you hear lines that feel like really creative and just
Mhm.
super like almost like they're like kind of confusing, but
Yeah.
you still kind of listen to it and you're like, wow, like this is interesting. But I feel like nowadays it's a lot of like I feel like people are playing it safe.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of cliches and it's just I don't know.
And with the rise of like the Phoebe Bridgers-esque, not saying that Phoebe Bridgers is bad, but like a lot of the TikTok creators who are like inspired by her, who do the super like specific lyrics.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about. I love Phoebe Bridgers so much. I just hit the pop filter, but I'm trying to think of a specific lyric.
Like not Phoebe Bridgers, but like the artists, the other singers that like try to copy her
No,
style.
yeah, I totally get what you mean. And I think that now it's hard because, I mean, even I remember in the Billie Eilish documentary when she was working on When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? I think at one part, Phineas was saying, like, the label was saying that we need one, like, hit
Mhm.
song, you know? Because
Mhm.
now I feel like a lot of record labels, they're like, okay, yeah, you can have your soft and slow songs of the album, but like, at the end of the day, they need that one song that they can push to the radios, that they can, you know, get to win best song of the year or whatever, or like perform.
Yeah.
So now it just become a lot less. And I'm sure like it's not just recently that music has been this way, like for a while, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, if you remember, like, or if you remember, we literally were not alive when this happened. But I know, like, in Bohemian Rhapsody, like the movie, they were talking about the song Bohemian Rhapsody and it was like 6 minutes long. And some radio stations or like people at the record
It's
label
only
were
6
like,
minutes long.
or wait, no, I think it's like
That's
longer than that actually. Is it like
I'm
eight
curious
minutes?
now.
7 minutes? I don't know, but people at the like record label and stuff were saying like, oh, no radio station is going to play a song this long. So
Yeah.
this is definitely not the first that we've heard about something like
That's
this.
funny. It's only 5 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wait, for some reason I thought it was like the longest song ever, but like
Me too.
I listen to so
That's
many
like
songs that are that
humongous.
length.
Humongous by Declan McKenna is longer than that. Um, Also, I've seen the number
Venice
five.
Bitch by Lana Del Rey is 9 minutes and 37
Yeah,
seconds.
I keep seeing the number 555. That must mean something.
We'll unpack that next episode.
I like literally last night I Googled like meaning of 555 because I kept seeing it and then I saw it again just now. What the heck?
Oh my God.
But anyways, like I think wait, that's crazy that like they were like that it's a 5 minute and 55 second song and it's gonna be too long. That's so
I mean, I
funny
feel
to
like a
me.
lot of songs back then were longer, but it was like specifically for the radio because I think that was like the
Yeah.
single that they wanted too.
Bringing it back to social media, like they are artists and like musicians, they feel like they can't be naturally discovered anymore. Like they can't just like be discovered like people were discovered back years ago. And so they have to
Because you
like
honestly can't be naturally discovered
yeah,
anymore.
and it's so bad because now now they just have to like work the algorithm. They have to figure out how to work the algorithm. And it's like everything's about an algorithm now. Like everything's about an algorithm.
It's so true. And it's like, if you want to get your art out there, like you have to appeal to a generation with a destroyed attention span because they're addicted to TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just referring to Gen Z as like they, not saying we, just because I don't know, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm like above all, because I'm definitely like within this group of destroyed attention
Yeah.
span people. But
Same.
so now you have to make a song with like a really catchy hook or a lyric that could possibly, start a new dancing challenge, or like a relatable lyric that can create a new trend. So now it's like you're not really writing just to write, you're writing to like appeal to these
Yeah.
apps, aka TikTok.
Yeah, there's still every once in a while where a song for some reason blows up that was created outside of that knowledge. Like Declan McKenna's cover of Slipping Through My Fingers by ABBA, that's like a huge TikTok song right
That's
now.
so funny.
And but he's sad because it's like he's working on this new album and it's not getting much recognition, but it's like all of a sudden this cover of him singing a song that's like not even available on streaming websites is like blowing up.
Yeah, because like he's putting in all of this work into his newer music and creating stuff that feels authentic to him. But it's like now there's nothing he can do because the sped up version of a song that he made in
Yeah.
2017 is going viral. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now he can't perform his new stuff and now he has to like go off of that. But like, it just
Yeah.
sucks.
And that's also why I love MGMT, because I was watching this interview and they were like, or no, I was reading an interview, I think, and somebody asked them about TikTok because like Little Dark Age blew up on TikTok just randomly, and they didn't intend for it to be a TikTok song, but they were like, like how do you? I think they said like typically an artist would release like the sped up version on their Spotify to get streams, and they were like, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna let it like naturally do its thing.
No, exactly. And like, it's so weird to see, like, for Nicki Minaj, for example, like Red Ruby to Sleaze and like Yikes and even like Last Time I Saw You, those were all songs that like I feel like were so like true to her, I guess. Like Red Ruby to Sleaze was just like 3 minutes of just like rap and bars and just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, all three of those songs honestly did perform like really well, but it's just crazy that then Super Freaky Girl is the one to go completely viral on TikTok when it's like she
Yeah.
was saying that like that song isn't her most like lyrically, I don't know, like lyrically diverse, question mark. I don't know if that's the right word
Mm-hmm.
to use for it, but because that was like supposed to be a single, for radio and stuff. But I
Yeah.
don't know, I just find it super interesting.
I just feel like it's just gonna keep getting worse.
Songs are also getting shorter and shorter
Yeah.
because we saw like the 2 minute range for a while, and now we've been starting to see the 1 minute range.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
because
crazy.
people don't really care about a good bridge or just like a good second verse anymore. All they care about is that
Mm-hmm.
hook that's going to be in the 15-second video
Yeah.
on TikTok.
Yeah. This is kind of like totally changing the topic a little bit, but I had this other point that I'd written down that I wanted to talk about. So, back in this is another thing I learned about in art history, but like back in, the 18th century, or no, the 19th and 20th century, people would like meet up at cafes or like collaborative art spaces, or like the artist Basquiat, who I learned about yesterday, like people like he would have like 20 people come to his house and he would just like they would all just like do art.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I feel like and Picasso would go to a cafe and hang out, and all the other cubist painters would come hang out with him and they would talk about art. And I feel like that just like doesn't exist anymore. Like nobody.
There's not much community because it's mostly online.
Yeah. And that's just like interesting. It's just so interesting how we're finally getting the point where it's like social media has been around for like 15 years now. So I feel like all of a sudden I can really see the differences. And maybe it's just because I'm taking this class, but like and I've like just because I've been taking this class and like listening to older music recently, that I'm suddenly like, wait, What the heck is going on right now?
No, I have these little crises all the time.
Also, photography used to be more of an art form, which obviously photography is still an art form, but like back then people would have to be so intentional with their photos because you only have so much film or whatever. But now it's like with our phones, like you can just take anything and your photos aren't really an art. They're just like, I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. And I also feel like this is more of a timeless thing because obviously, you know, making a career in art has been a debate for a while about,
Mm-hmm.
can it actually like support you financially? But now
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't just be an artist and shoot the photography that you want to shoot. Now you have to
Yeah.
take pictures of people's weddings or something just so you can,
Yeah.
have an income, which I feel like is not something super recent, but it's still
Yeah.
just like a weird thing to think about.
That's a good point, though, actually, that nowadays it is probably easier to have a career in art. I think it's harder to blow up as a huge artist like some of those people that I talked about earlier. Like, you can't just, I feel like you can't blow up as an artist anymore and have everybody know your name, but I think more people can have stable careers in art, which is good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that is actually a good thing about social media. So that's kind of good actually. Like that's interesting.
And there are still
Um
like artists who are creating and still like art collectors who are purchasing as well. And I feel like
mhm.
they will always respect that, like, it may not be the cheapest thing to buy because it took probably ages to make and
Mhm.
stuff.
Since social media is watering down all this art, less people maybe are willing to spend a lot of money. Less people are willing to like invest in an artist or an art piece um because it's all watered down, which that makes me think that like maybe since people aren't willing to like invest in an artist anymore, that's why there's not any celebrity artists.
Yeah, because like you either make it or you don't, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like the type of things where you just have the funds to like allow yourself to not
Yeah.
make money because that's just the world we live in.
Yeah. And a lot of these artists would have somebody funding their work because it was that expensive, but then that's how they became so rich and famous. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Okay. But for now, it's time to get into our epiphany moment.
Oh,
Um,
okay, I'm ready.
so this is like a hot take that I had last night. I don't know what we can discuss this, but like, are the new quote unquote celebrity artists people like YouTubers or um other types of things like that? Like, can that be,
Like
you
artists,
know?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like for each industry, there's definitely like a subgenre. Like for filmmaking, I feel like the subgenre would be like
Yeah.
YouTubers. And then like for the music industry, the subgenre would be like even if somebody's songs are still on Spotify, I'm still putting them in the TikToker musician subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because I'm thinking like okay, imagine in like 100 years, people learning art history from the 21st century. Like,
that's so funny.
like
Like
what
what does
is
that
gonna
consist
be?
of?
Yeah, so like, and we're already 20% of the way through the 21st century. So like, who, who, who is in the
That's
textbook?
another theory that I have is like I feel like you look at a lot of art in schools by century. It's kind of like in the 17th century, this artist was the
Mm-hmm.
most famous. And I'm like, maybe that's why it feels like there's been a long break, is because we literally stereotype one artist as like a singular century, even though that was like a
Yeah,
hundred years, but it's like they may have been popular from 1730 to like 1741. But like, if
yeah.
you look at
That's
that in
actually
context,
that's a really good point. Like,
we just have to wait to 2037.
yeah, exactly. Like maybe these like I don't know. I'd have to ask my parents this or something, but like when they lived in the 80s and 90s, like I wonder if they could have thought of any artists or if they didn't know about it either until now. Now that like now that the years have passed and like you can gather the history to make something about that.
But also, I feel like we're proving our own points because, I mean, do we really make an effort to like find artists, you know? But I feel like we expect it to
Mhm.
be in front of us on the places that we use most, such as social media. So it's like,
Yeah.
are we kind of hypocrites by saying, oh, well, we don't know any artists just because
Yeah.
we haven't seen one on social media? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking too cuz I was like maybe I'm just oblivious and I know that there are artists, but I'm just yeah, like maybe I'm
Like, we're not trying to say there hasn't been like a singular artist in a while, but
yeah.
like, what we're kind of just saying is like, when is the next Van Gogh
The one
coming?
that yeah, like the one that everybody knows who they are. Like I feel like the way to categorize them as like a celebrity artist would be that people who aren't really into art still know who they are.
Right, like who's gonna cut off their ear? Who's gonna do it?
Yeah, like who's gonna do it?
But
We're
also,
waiting.
okay, wait, now I kind of see what you're saying with like the YouTubers now. Like,
You
maybe
know?
the way of being famous back then was being an artist, but now like being
Yeah.
famous means an actor, a singer, a whatever, influencer.
Oh yeah, actors. That's true too. Influencers. Yeah.
Like, maybe that's just like the new type of famous for this
Yeah.
current time.
And I was thinking mainly YouTubers because that was the only like visual art I could think of. It's not painting, but it's still like I feel like that also applies to music. Like it's weird trying to imagine even with fashion, like it's weird trying to imagine what in 50 years what people are going to categorize this decade as. And I didn't even know how to categorize the 2010s except that like in the past few weeks I've been starting to see people like romanticizing the 2010s and um like as a decade. And I'm like, are we what?
No, yeah, it's so weird to see like something that you lived through turn into like a vision board on Pinterest.
Yeah. Um and there was this TikTok that I saw last night which kind of like actually like led me to this whole epiphany was like it was just like a concert in 2010 or something and nobody had their phones out. And I was like, it was like a music festival or something and nobody had their phones out. And I was like, it's just so weird how much has changed in the past 10 years.
It's actually cool if you watch like the VMAs or something because I think they take everybody's phones, so it actually like looks like
Oh,
everyone's. Because that's what I realized. I was like, wow, like the crowd is still like involved. But then I was like, wait, if they were allowed to have their phones, everyone would be sitting there just like using it as a concert.
yeah. Huh, that's interesting. So, like, I guess it'll be interesting to see how this progresses in the next 10 or 20 years. And we can look back on this episode when we're
Yeah.
40 and be like, oh, like I could not predict what's going to happen next. I
Oh,
really
wait.
can't.
Maybe this is just gonna be known as like the digital art era.
Wait,
Wait, because like people are gonna be like, oh, it was like graphic design, digital art. Like maybe that's wait, graphic
yeah.
design. Maybe that's like the answer to this
Yeah.
all.
I mean, yeah, maybe graphic design is the answer because I mean, it's been around and like graphic design was a thing before computers, but like now it's really a thing.
Okay, was that our
And
epiphany?
maybe,
Are
but
we in the
like
digital art era?
I guess so. I kind of like I don't like that. Like
I don't
I mean
either.
me literally being a digital artist, but
No, you're literally a graphic design major and you're like, I don't like that. But also like I feel like it's better than just knowing that we're progressively going downhill because it's like we're not going downhill, we're just like in a new era, you know what I mean?
yeah. It'll be interesting though cuz like I don't know, last night at 2:30 a.m. I literally was like I want to throw away my phone.
I have that
I was
crisis a
literally
lot.
like, yeah. I just also, yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Yes, I have to get ready for work now.
Yeah, please comment. Please go to our Instagram and like comment your opinions on this, because I really would like to know what your opinions are, because this is like just a really interesting topic that I have been thinking about a lot this whole quarter. Yeah, go follow us on Instagram at the Telepathy Pod, on YouTube, which we don't do anything on YouTube but upload our episodes.
So subscribe so you can hear our next episode next Tuesday, because that's when we release. And then also, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, like follow our podcast and like rate it or review it or however, or whatever is applicable to the platform you are using. I need to like get that down, because
Yeah.
every single episode I like stutter and I'm like, what am I saying?
Yeah, but also next week we will be back in person, so stay tuned.
So everyone get excited.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, we will
All
see you
right.
then. Bye.
Bye.